We are going to continue our efforts to create new encounters for the Light of Xaryxis, or expand on those that already exist inside of that adventure. Give me a second here to check my signal. Give me a sec. That sounds pretty clean. Actually, it sounds a little quiet. Yeah, okay, I'm looking good there. And okay, cool. So the way that YouTube works, if you aren't human, is that people watch your stuff and they like and subscribe to it. So if you've been checking out the content recently, or if you're new to the channel, hey, I'm at 112. My name is Phil. I need 1,000 for me to get monetized by YouTube. I'm just about at 800 watch hours at this point, which is awesome. Thank you guys. I need 4,000 to get monetized, so you need 1,000 followers with 4,000 hours worth of views. So you can do me the biggest favor by subscribing and showing up, sticking around, enjoying, whatever it is that we do. So I'm just about done here boosting my signal on Discord. If you know me on Discord, hey guys. But that is done. All right, cool. So this is the cover that we built for the Spelljammer Combat and Exploration expansion rules. That we'll publish on the DMsGuild. There's a link in the DMsGuild down below. If you aren't familiar already, it has a link to a number of the books that I have already produced that are Magic the Gathering in theme. That MTG might not be your jam, but I recommend that you check them out anyway, because you can view them cover to cover, the entire work, for you to see. There's about 80 illustrations that I put in there, and there's about 120 pages of content total across all of them. They're mana systems. Spell points might not be your jam, but again, this is a proof of concept that the work that we're doing here now is going to be of equal or better quality to the work that you see there. Every time I build a new book, it gets better. So the layouts get better, the art style gets more refined or focused on the type of style that I want to have in these books, and the quality of content, the development material and the writing gets better because I get better and better staff working with me. And speaking of which, I have Ukulele Bard as well as Adam Hancock on my team on this project. Continuing from yesterday, I'm starting earlier today. I'm a whole hour earlier, so I have a ton of time this morning, and maybe ongoing in the mornings, for me to continue producing content at a faster rate here on stream. And an extra hour of content is an extra hour of production. So the faster we can get stuff done, the better off. Well, that's not true. I don't want it done fast. Well, I do want it done fast, but it's got to get done good. So I'm going to spend maybe... I got a timer kick over 20 minutes now, so I'm going to continue working on this the Citadel of Light from Light of Xaryxis, and I'll probably pick at that for like maybe an hour or so. But actually, what I wanted to do was put some notes in on the playtest from the playtest that we had last night. So here's the alpha doc that I've been working on right now. It's not the playtest document. There is a playtest document linked down below. It's read only. It's a Google Doc. You go to my Patreon. You can click on that and you can check out the broader command system mechanics for troops, dungeon squads, armies, guilds, kingdoms, descent into Avernus vehicles, as well as the initial the super early Spelljammer combat mechanics. They've been refined and changed a number of times here in the playtest doc. But this isn't what you're looking at is more of a pre-version, like the flavor of what we're trying to do. Here we're refining it. And there's also subclass variations, like changing the Rake Drake Warden and the Ranger Beastmaster, the Artificer, Battlesmith. There were changes that needed to be made there for the command system in total, but for the most part, it's a good chunk of what we're looking at and what we're thinking about with how the system works in general. It works smoothly, like very smoothly, with 5e specifically, but also works with Pathfinder 1 and 2. So, because it's just downtime, it's mostly just downtime system mechanics, like the kingdoms and guild stuff. That's all just downtime. But we had some cool feedback from the playtest that we did last night. So ship materials. I'm going to put a mark on here real quick to comment. So what we want to do is 1117. What we want to do is reduce to 2 options, light and heavy materials. Remove the speed gap between metal versus other. AC 13 plus dex or int. AC 16 plus S strength or constitution. Cap plus 2. And let's see. Light. Heavy. DR 15. Damage threshold, rather. We'll keep the SC plus 1, D plus 5. SC plus 5, D plus 1. So that'll get up to 18. This will get up to 18. Yeah, that feels pretty good. At level 6, we had a number of misses, so that was pretty cool. We got rid of the dodge. Let's see. L equals 100 tons per 50. H equals 200 tons per 50. I think those are the only revisions that we need. Just wanted to simplify these mechanics a little bit, get rid of the speed gap, because that just absolutely sucked. Having the metal ship moving slower, trying to pursue the characters, that was horrible. The fighter ships were a smashing success. They worked perfectly as intended. I was really, really happy about that. And we'll have to fix that as well. Let's see. We can consolidate and resolve these. Spelljammer Helm, I'm still questioning if that's the position it's supposed to be in this document. Visibility worked great as intended. I don't think we have any revisions until we get down into the action economy. I'm just going through these revisions real quick here to make the changes so that we can just get this catalog and move on. So we want to change dash. We want to change that to move ship. There's weird language with dash that it's doubling your move speed, but there's the scaling that you have during your movement. It requires that each of these actions be broken up into separate actions, not just extending the movement you have as a single action. I really agree, because with 1D&D on that, because that's how I thought that's how I thought dash just worked. So regardless, everyone's saying it doesn't. I still thought it did. So I think that's a great change. I think that's a proper change. Let's see. Reload. Ready. We have the language here is ready. So that's just one thing we can get rid of. Disengage worked great. Hide worked amazing. That was freaking awesome. We had the rogue as our pilot. That was great. And the concentration worked the way that we intended. Breaking up actions worked the way we intended. It was pretty freaking solid. So that was really, really cool. The only thing that we're mincing on really is not having dodge felt void, but we recognized from previous tests that dodge with these ships is pretty damn broken. So we wanted to fix that. We don't have dodge in here, but we like the idea of having some sort of dodge was appreciated. So give me a second here to go fetch into that dock here real quick. There we go. Let's see. Dodge. Resolve that. Wants magic items. Blasting caps. Allows siege weapons to make door checks for the pilots. Gun crew. Dodge. Okay. We can add evade. No, not as an attack. And that'll give you an extra bonus action to do something more to help advantage on the ship. Disengage. There we go. Get into evade action bonus. While concentrating at the helm, increase ship AC by +2. Advantage on deck saves. Ship. Until the start of your next turn. There. Pop, 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 and there we go. Cool. So we can discuss that as a point. Cool. All right, and save. That's all we have for now. Okay, cool. So that's good. We can now get back into. All right, so we can now continue map. Now that I got the playtesting documentation done, and I am overheating, so I'm going to turn off my heater and have a sip of coffee. There we go. All right, cool. So let's get back into it. Let's see. One of the ideas that I had was to duplicate the group. Free transform. You know what? Actually, I don't need the whole grid. There. All right, these things here. Arr! Wrong button. Group. All right. Free transform. What am I trying to do? The idea to shrink these things down. To have a smaller grid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, and I don't know why. Oh, that's why. That's why my brain is breaking. I wanted to. Now I know what I was trying to do. Let's try that again, but closer. Third take. I don't know if this is going to work or not, honestly. The resolution is so small. Let's start there. Yeah, absolutely doesn't matter. All right. The idea, I was thinking about putting like a grid of 10 inside of each one of these squares, but the line point would be so tiny that it doesn't actually register. I'd have to have a much higher resolution, which I don't want to bother doing. So, all right, that was just a thought experiment that failed. Let's get back. Whoa. There, that's where I want to be. 3. Okay, cool. That is actually accurate. The size of that star moth inside of here, this space, it's 200 feet. It's actually a little bit bigger than that, but it's pretty damn close. But yeah, you can see how, like, if it has an air bubble. Here, I'm gonna grab this real quick. There. That's our dealy thing there. See, I don't know why they don't count the wings as part of the air bubble, right? It should be. So if you have the same amount here to here, see, it fills that 500-foot space. If you take rigging and stuff into account, the air bubble and gravity field of these ships fill this 500-foot space. So it's that's one of the reasons why I have the spacing of these ships be a square like 5e does, instead of a horse of just like this space like the original 3rd edition does. I don't understand that mechanical decision, but we discussed that in 2 sessions ago. It's just fun seeing these little things sitting here because you have this additional airfoil, this additional air envelope, this extra space showing how the width of the wings is roughly the length of the body. So if you have a hammer ship or something here, and then you have your ship, there you go. That's your hammer ship, and it has sails on it too, and that's an exaggeration of the hammer. It's more like that, but still, this is about that wide. This is like that wide. This is a little bit bigger than a square, so than the 500-foot space. So it's just easy just to round it down, quote unquote, to just fill this space. So you can just have things sitting inside a 500-foot space like that. So anyway, that was a thing. Nice. 20 minutes down. Okay, cool. So yeah, I was just seeing that little thing sitting there. I dug it. That's adorable. That has these little floater rocks out here. I'm going to opt against that. Those would not stay in orbit with this. They would have drifted out along, unless they're specifically like chained to the larger structure, which is hilarious unto itself. But otherwise, these things, as SAS, as the book describes, they would eventually float out 50 feet per 10 minutes, or I guess a foot every 2 minutes. So it would have drifted out forever. Like, these things would not stay here. So that's a cute little thing on the map, but it's not actually technically accurate. I'm not begrudging the cartographer at all. This is gorgeous work. I'm just saying the art director should have caught that. They just didn't. So it's just an aesthetic thing. They probably don't think it's important, and that's fine. So let's just continue this outline. Lift that to another layer for now. Drop it down. Where are my diamonds at? Good. Good. I don't know what this song is saying. It sounds like somebody's trying to say something, but it also just kind of sounds like noise. I'm not sure what that is yet. Just right there. I have no idea. That sounds like it's supposed to be somebody saying something, but it just sounds like silliness. This. Good morning, Sexbot. That's wonderful that you would post that. Thank you. Let's go ahead and remove report. And am I live? Or what? It says live. There I am. Hey guys. God damn it. Get out of here. Find your love in the city. No. I'll get rid of that. Alright, well, whatever, I guess. Whatever. It'll go away soon enough. There. Just ignore it, it'll go away. transform, flip, rotate. Yeah, I don't need that anymore. One, two, three, four. Fits inside those four. I'm happy with that. Scooch it over just a touch to line up with the ground here. Cool. Cool. The Great Aurora. I don't know what's so great about it. Doesn't have any specific items. You know what? Maybe we just leave this uncapped. It's fun. So this line weight is 3 pixels. We'll be able to go back through and do higher detail stuff with smaller 2 pixel brush. That'll survive the reduction process of being uploaded into VTT, but still provide us with an extra layer of detail inside these outline spaces, which is a common thing that we've been doing. The 432. This is just working 3 pixels, but when we start building strong points inside here for turrets and stuff, we can use a 4-point line weight to distinguish it more pronounced than the rest of the structure. So let's see. Doesn't seem to be any rules about civilian buildings getting this close to the sacred citadel. Or to the palace, or to the great orrery for that matter. I think it's just because space is at a premium. They don't have a bottom side to this map provided, and I feel like there's opportunity for a lot of living space down there. Maybe it's just serfs in huts, and like this is like the rich part. Like this is the rich side of the Moth, while the truly poor live in caves and run around like savages on the underside. Who knows? I do not know. Ooh, wow, that is. I feel like I can just damage across this neck here, just cut the thing's head off, and have that citadel, well, have that fortress fly free. This would be, what kind of space is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's about probably a 100-foot block. So let's have about 400,000 hit points here to cut this off. Nice, let's keep it going. No, yeah, it'd be, only 40,000. Is that right? Let's go check. Material weight. Getting there. Hold on. Massive objects. Yeah, 20k. So this would be about 40, because that's probably about 100 feet. So that's 40,000 damage that we would have to deal with that. Well, if it's just that thin, if it's like, just because it's this size here, it could also be like that deep. You know, we don't really have we don't get any mechanics on how. Like we have the Citadel here. Like how, like, is it big like this, and it's just shaped like a butterfly? Like you got your wings here, but it's actually got like all this space down to it. So free transform. I don't think so. Like if this is a mile, if this square is a mile, like that's 2,500 feet thick. So. I reckon it's probably twice as thick as it is wide. I reckon. Reckon a wreck. Whew, something just changed. Alright. I don't know. It's just the Matrix changed. So my reality just shifted. I don't know what world I'm in anymore. But I'm looking forward to whatever is next. I think my muse just cleared a blockage inside of me. That's intense. God, there's this intense wave going through me right now. Out of just nowhere. I don't know where the energy's coming from or what it's for, but sometimes we just feel emotions. We just have to process them and stop asking why. Like, why is this happening to me? Like, it's happening. It's like Rush, man. Why does it happen? Because it happens. Roll the bones. I love you, Rush. Temple of Light. Hello, hello. If you're new to the stream, hey, my name's Phil. I create books on the DMs Guild, and eventually I'll do Kickstarter projects for TTRPGs. I'm taking a casual approach to it to keep it fun. I don't want to try hard too soon, otherwise I'll burn out on it too fast. But we're building the book. This is Light of Xaryxis modification we're making to the maps. We got to build our own if it's going to be in a supplement. So I can't be a tracer. But I can take inspiration from the city and get at least get the structure right. So I can pseudo trace to make sure that I have the spacing of the place appropriate. But as you can see, I'm building out the structures to fit in the spaces that I want them to fit into. Like this is a 4x4 space that this temple sits inside of. So I know that's got it's a 20,000 hit point facility that you have to tear down. If you want to destroy it, you have to do 20,000 damage to it. So. Like 5,000 per square is the easy way to break that down. Over here, I just want to keep it with the outline for now. I'm happy with how it is. No hate on the cartographer at all. I just feel like with structures this close to the edge of forever, that you'd want to make sure that you have like the occasional barrier to keep kids from toddling off the edge and floating out into oblivion. Nope, time to save. It saved. My system froze up, so save and then. Oh, maybe I can. How to get rid of you, Bugaboo? All right, good enough. Nice. Very nice. There's like forestry. And this is a big garden. That's so lovely. Hey, Nico. I've arrived. Sorry I wasn't able to join you yesterday. Oh man, you don't have to worry about it. It was fun. And I'll have the playtest uploaded to the playtest team. I'll have the video uploaded to the playtest team today, at some point. I should have done that. I just passed the hell out last night. So I should have immediately just started uploading on YouTube. I don't know why I don't do that. But the playtests the playtests remain private to the playtesters until we have a final product. We can go back and see if any of that footage is stuff that people agree can be public or not. But the agreement was to keep it private, at least for the playtesters to be able to see for reference. But yeah, it was fun. It took 5 rounds for them to escape the asteroid belt. They didn't. They took ship took out of 300 hit points. The ship took 200. Took 100. So it was a third of the way down, which is plenty excuse for you guys to have to then go to the Rocket Brawl for repairs, which was the intention. But let's see, the support, our support character was using reactions to tank damage for the pilot. The pilot didn't take any damage because of it. No, like took like 10 damage maybe. The pilot saving throw. The pilot was a rogue this time around, so the pilot saving throw, our Constitution modifier was a -1. So absolutely was doing all he could to avoid actually having to roll a concentration check, because if he fails the concentration check, the ship is dead in the water until he can regain his focus during his turn. So they wouldn't be able to defend the ship. While the power is down. The power goes down when the pilot loses concentration. Or anyone using an orrery can't keep power in the ship. That has to be the helmsman. And once the ship is powered, the orrery can tap into the ship's power. So it has that degree of separation there that the pilot is primary. So anyone that's playing the support role with attunement to an orrery can use a reaction to take damage for the pilot. And so we had two people playing support, and one of them was a fighter, so they had enough action economy to be able to work and reload weapons, and that all worked out really well. The first 15 minutes of the stream here, you can go back and check it out, but the first 15 minutes was me putting notes into the document that Ukulele Bard and I are working on right now to basically reduce differences in materials to either light or heavy, as in like light or heavy armor sort of analogy. And one of the observations was the lack of a dodge option. Kind of left the pilot wanting for defenses, but dodge we've already determined is just way too powerful statistically. But we're gonna try using a +2 bonus. Like if you use the dodge action, you get a +2 bonus to your armor class, which honestly would make a big difference in a lot. At the 6th level, it makes a pretty big difference. And if we keep things, armor class doesn't scale up as fast as hit modifiers, obviously. So it's eventually going to be really easy for you just to hit consistently. And the real threat then would be being able to break through their hit point stack. But at the lower tier, the armor classes that we're using, which are ranging around 17 to 20, are pretty good. I think the really big win was the fighter ships, the little pursuit skiffs that were flitting around, that are only like a 10 by 15 foot little flying tormentor. They had the enemy had a squadron of 4 of those, and it was they were useful in keeping for variety in the challenge, to give them a smaller target to shoot at occasionally, and they're fast, so it was easy for them to stay on top of the characters because they're so small. They could weave through obstacles very easily. And they had the same speed as the Spelljammer ships while they're in a contained environment like that. Their top speed is the 500-foot square, or up to 1 mile per round, in comparison to a Spelljammer ship, which could do 10,000 miles in a round. So a Spelljammer ship is literally 1,000 times faster than the little fighter ships that are coming at you. But that's them without any Spelljammer helm at all. So they can do basically 500 feet, 5,000 feet, a mile and around. So super fast compared to people. They can do like I think that comes out to about 10,000 miles in a day that a fighter ship could do. So like in the gravity plane of a planet, these little fighter ships are fast enough to basically go around Toril once per day. So they're fast and they're really useful. But against a spelljamming ship, you have to stay in dogfighting or engagement range for the fighter ships to be a risk to you. So they carry along in the gravity of a bigger ship, like a carrier, and then once they get into engagement with an enemy, that's when they can disperse and start attacking you directly. So they're really fun. I posted an announcement in Discord for you. Not sure why you couldn't post an announcement when you are done streaming. Let me know if I fix. Oh, D, thank you, man. That's very kind of you. Thanks for swinging by to let me know. I do love posting when I am producing content on the Discord channels where I haunt. So if you guys, anyone else that's watching, if you know me on Discord, drop me a hey. But yeah, the fighter ships absolutely work. They were freaking fantastic. Individually they only do the harpoon flingers only do 2d8 damage, so they aren't significant threats against an actual Spelljammer ship that has hundreds of hit points. But against siege weapons, they're really good. They can trash a siege weapon pretty quickly, and because the damage isn't upscaled siege damage, if a siege commander decides to take damage for the siege weapon, it's true damage. They don't get to reduce it. So I got 25 damage from a squad that attacked the trebuchet or the banganel that the team was using, and at 6th level with 70 some odd hit points, that round of damage was 25 damage. So it was a significant threat that needs to be has a little bit of care taken on how DMs use pursuit ships, because they just absolutely wreck siege machines and siege crews. So that was great though. I was really happy to see that was worked as intended. The ship-to-ship combat at larger scale, because the hit point capacity of people, at 6th, sorry, this is a 6th level test. At 6th level, with say a rogue having around 40 some odd hit points, the pilot, the ship is actually able to tank a lot of damage. In this circumstance, he had a penalty to his concentration check when taking damage from a Constitution saving throw. So the ship being able to take damage and then being able to be repaired later absolutely allowed them to maintain their action economy. And it was only a one-on-one. Well, it wasn't a one-on-one fight because the carrier ship had its squadron of fighters, but it was only one Spelljammer ship against another, and it had a barrage of 4 ballista and a mangonel. So, and it was using the hidden paths that we were talking about. And once they saw that the Neogi could use a hidden path to get from one part to another, the support was doing spot checks to see if they could find paths of their own to go through. And in one of the instances, they did. And they had to make piloting checks to be able to navigate the tight space without taking damage to their ship. And the rogue went pilot because, as opposed to the pilot going rogue, but the rogue went pilot because he had expertise in the piloting check. So he was able to. He had a +9 to his die roll. So that was. It was still, and so the scaling DC as he went through that was fantastic, because at 13 it was super easy, 16 was dicey, 19 was difficult, and he was taking damage on 22s. So I could probably afford to up the DC on those from 13. I could probably take it to 15, 18, 20, 22. I can probably narrow the gap like that, and that'll guarantee that it's going to make sure that the ship takes more damage in the process. Because the more damage, because once the in crash damage, I need to modify crash damage so that the way that it currently sits is crash damage can't be mitigated by a pilot. It's direct damage to the vessel. I'm thinking about whether that needs to be modified or not. So for now, I think I'm satisfied with it, but we'll have another few. We're gonna have another few playtests after the Thanksgiving holiday here in America. So we'll have an opportunity to see if that crashing mechanic is good as is, or if it needs to be mitigated. The little subtle tweaks. It's frustrating to go through the playtesting process and make all those little tweaks and have those and see that something just isn't quite sitting right because it's discouraging. This is like, is it ever going to really properly click? So you just keep going through different iterations of stuff until you find something that's like, yeah, actually that feels good. But there's design fatigue is a thing, you know? Like, you can't just create something and know it's going to work okay. It's a completely different system. I mean, it's a 5e mechanic system, but there's a lot of subtle changes that are made to like how action economy works and stuff like that, and the damage scaling of these ships blending as temporary hit points with the pilot. Like, the pilot is temporary hit points for the ship is temporary hit points for the pilot when the ship is being attacked. So there's this weird, interesting relationship that the pilot and the crew have with the damage capacity of the ship and the weapons on the ship. So it's not just something you can easily eyeball as like a fighter class. It's like, well, it's just using the same resources as other classes. We're just creating a couple different options to use that action, to use those resources with. This is really recalibrating at a larger scale how things interact with the environment. So it's interesting. It's a fun process. It's frustrating to go through it, but well, I like DMing, so that's not a problem. It's like how close it is to being fantastic. And it's just like, we just got to find that one little iterative piece that'll take it from almost to totally fantastic. So, and we're like right there. It's right there. So, high hopes. It's looking really good as a working, functioning system. It's about 95% of the way there. So just a little bit more time needed to tweak the actions that are available. The rest of the structure, the rest of all the mechanics are panning out great. Like the distancing, the timing, the movement scaling. All that stuff is working great. The only things that we're nitpicking at right now are like cool things that characters can do while they're piloting a ship, like evade as opposed to dodge, and like cleaning up language. Like, I didn't understand how the dash was actually worded, so we just had to change the chart. So it's like when you use an object interaction or a standard action, it's you move the ship. It's not dropping the dash language. Simplified that. So like little tweaks like that object interactions that we may have overmissed in the initial process, but are absolutely important to understand. So that's where we're at in the document right now. Like, just tweaking some options here and there to make it more fun, but the mechanics work, which is awesome. Really, really happy about just the thing works. That's really cool. So I have to build a Discord server so that all of our playtesting squad can all be in the same place, so we can start west marching this stuff a little bit more. You know, like say this is the date I'm going to do a playtest, who's in, and then of the pile of 20 some odd people that have been playtesters, have you can throw up hands to see who's interested in engaging. And silence ensues. $6:30. We still have 90 minutes. This is great. Micah, hey dude. I cannot wait until we get these rules for Dragonlance Style Master Army Combat. No kidding, dude. If you check the master document that I have linked to my Patreon down there for In Command, like the full thing, I think if you hold on, let me go visit it with you real quick. Playlist here, development document linked here, view free on Patreon. So let's click into Patreon. and playtest content for In Command of Armies, Guilds, and Kingdoms. This is like the full Monty, all 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 120, 180. 188 pages currently, so that's going to get trimmed down. But let's kick all the way down to 500. The tail end of this document is currently all the Spelljammer stuff. It's not the current Spelljammer stuff that we're working on. This document is already out of date, but it at least gives you the flavor of how, like what we're doing. Like the core here is all the same. The basic mechanical concepts. It's just the tweaking, like changing ranges on weapons and stuff like that we've been tweaking around that have changed. But the stuff still gives you the flavor of what we're doing. But if we scroll up, and this document is unwieldy. I'm going to have to swap this out to make it simpler for folks and break it up into separate documents for separate topics. But for now, it's all massed together, so enjoy it, and it's read-only. So, I mean, you can look at it, and you can't actually own it, which is a stipulation that I have to follow for the DMsGuild publishing. Like, I can't make this something you can have, and it can't be the final document either. So these are just rough concepts that we've built out so far that are being modified, and the wording will be different. So it will remain compliant with DMsGuild's stuff. And ultimately, when all this stuff publishes, this document will go away, and it'll just be a link into the final DMsGuild stuff. But hey, let's see. I'm trying to find vehicles and siege weapons, commerce structures, the Senate Combine case study. Hold on. Here we go. It's page 89. That we have Ranger variant for the Drake Warden. Here we go. This is what you do for Dragonlance. So we can once we see whether or not Wizards of the Coast follows through in providing an actual Dragonlance, we'll see. But these modifications to the Drake Warden work great. So at 4th level by 15th, the creature you can be Gargantuan. 11th allows for huge. 7th allows for large, and you have flight no matter what. And then 3rd is riding. You don't have flight yet, but if you're a small size or smaller creature, you can use the Drake Warden as your mount. But this is just using the basic command mechanics where the size of the creature increases, gives it more and more temporary hit points that stack with its rider. The way that we do it in command is the hit points for your companion, whether it's a Drake Warden or a Beastmaster. The creatures that that are your companions are basically have temporary hit points. So you get a stack of extra temporary hit points on top of the Ranger, and you can freely, you can use those temp HP for your pet, but then you can use any amount of your Ranger hit points to take damage for your pet. So you can have a Wolf Doggo at 20th level, and your Ranger with 175 hit points. That dog's going to give you an extra 100 hit point buffer, plus your Ranger's 100 some odd hit points. That dog's going to survive a while. It can even tank damage for you, which is kind of the fantasy that goes along with pets. Like, they're there taking damage and blocking and screwing around with opponents while you're on the back line taking shots at stuff, or alongside it giving each other flank and stuff like that. So once we see if Wizards provides a damage for Dragonlances, we'll know where to go from there. But it's probably going to be something as simple as just do D4 times 10 damage while mounted on a dragon with the lance, and the lance would have a 50-foot range. So it'd be able to reach at the 50-foot scale. You'd be able to have your dragon flying, and then the lance would be able to extend into the next 50-foot square to be able to hit targets. And then if you're charging, you could deal double damage, so it'd be 2d4 instead of d4 times 10, and that makes it a significant threat to other massive dragons like the House of Dragons. They had that huge dragon that was a 50-foot scale dragon, while the kid was only on a 5-foot scale huge dragon, right? It was probably gargantuan, like 20 feet, maybe 25 feet in scale. Versus that massive dragon that just ate it in one bite. That thing was 150 feet long, so it fit in the 50 by 50 scale. So it had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hit points compared to that smaller dragon. And that little kid was like a first, maybe second level character at most if he wasn't just a noble NPC with like 15 hit points. He didn't have the ability to take damage for that dragon, so clump, it just eats it in one bite and it's gone. Like, that's totally reasonable considering the change in scale. But if you start giving these guys dragon lances and they're doing 2d4 times 10 damage on a hit, then you're going to be able to stab at and knock things down a lot easier. Anyway, it works. Right on, man. I mean, it's just a playtest document for now, so you can look at it, and it has work to do. The changes that we've made, just in Spelljammer alone, has shown us that there are changes that can be made and improvements are available. But yeah, it's there for people to look at. I have the Simic Combine in there as a sample of a guild stacking from 1st to 5th rank. If you're a Ravnica fan, then that's a really great. It was either that or Boros that I was going to go with for the sample, but I want to do all of them eventually. Once the guild book publishes, I can leave Simic in there as an example, but I can then also recruit somebody to build out all 10 guilds with me in the same style, so that we have an actual Guilds of Ravnica, like in command of the Guilds of Ravnica is probably what, like, that's not a perfectly smooth title. But it'll be something like that. So I think you got a couple different people that are interested in working on me with that. We'll see how it goes. It's not gonna. Ravnica stuff is iffy, man. Like, it's not a big seller. It's super cool. It's awesome flavor, but it's just another campaign setting for folks that aren't MTG enthusiasts already. So it's kind of a hard sell. That's the kind of stuff that I should be putting on Patreon in the future. But let's straighten that out. But conceptually, it's such a, like, if it could sell, it'd be such a cool thing to have included as a bundle option with the, I like that. I'm gonna keep that. Yeah, it'd be a cool thing to include. Like, here's a whole book of case studies of how you can make this guild system work with Ravnica. And Ravnica is special because it's the mana system, right? It's all color magic, so it'd be super easy for me to take Spell Point Warlocks, 5 color mana core rules, and the guild book, and build out the resources of the guild to be a stack of mana that you can then use to maintain global enchantments and have like reactionary magic and to be able to do summons on troops and stuff, like to be able to convert the resources of that guild directly into a mana stack that you can then use for NPCs to be casting effects and maintaining, like, sustaining powers and stuff like that. So, but that's like mega blending, like that'd be one minor book that is supported by 2 significant books, and that's a hard sell. that would not be a gold seller anytime soon, like, at all. But if you're into that stuff, like if you're into MTG and you're into Ravnica, that would be like super cool. But the audience is a subset of a subset audience. It's like it has no market, which is super sad. But I mean, it is what it is. If I'm going to recruit somebody, I'd have to pay them out of pocket to make it worth their while, and I wouldn't be able to pay more than like $400 to do it. But that might be worth it to somebody because it's not going to frickin' sell. It's basically an advertisement. Like, that book, that would just basically be an advertisement for the Guilds and Kingdoms book, as well as for the Color Mechanics book, as well as for the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica book. Like, it would be a very high cost advertising piece that would take months for me to construct, and probably wouldn't be worth it to the people that I recruit to do it. So it's just, I love the idea of doing that. I just don't know how responsible it is to my reputation to recruit somebody if it's not going to be a cash amount that they're okay with the amount of struggle and and trouble that it takes to produce these things. Like the Pacts and Patrons of Ravnica, I had 3 other writers and an editor on board with me for that, and it's a $10 book raw, and it doesn't sell at $10. It will sell when it's bundled with other Ravnica books, but by itself it does not sell. So that was a worthwhile experiment to be able to see how that is, but it has completely soured me to building like Artificers of Ravnica or like the Boros Guild and like having 13 subclasses in Boros using color mechanics. It's like I can do that, it's just no one's gonna buy it. So what I'll have to end up doing is, if I can accumulate enough of an audience, wink wink, everyone subscribe and like and share and follow me and buy my books and all the plug bloody blah. But if I can build enough of a fan base momentum and get folks on board, then that's the kind of stuff that I can switch away from focusing on DM's Guild stuff, and I can start focusing on like 2 or 3 page PDFs that I can just upload as perks onto my Patreon. But I need to have enough Patreon supporters, and I need to have monetization here, because it'd be really cool. It's like, hey, let's build a Boros Reckoner real quick as like a martial power subclass option, and just like kit that out in 3 pages. Paint some new illustrations to go along with it, post it on Patreon as a perk, and then have something I can add as potential stock art in the future. Like that would be really fun, like to build it here with you guys, and then do the layouts here with you guys, and then do the artwork for it here with you guys, and like have that posted like in a month. You know, like that'd be really cool, especially if I could like grind it down to 2 weeks. But I would have to have a lot more of a fan base for me to even consider doing stuff like that, because it's so couture. It's such a niche audience, you know. So I'm working on these more broad projects, like these projects that bend into being used in Wizards of the Coast adventure content is definitely a much more marketable path. Like stuff for like anything Curse of Strahd sells. So Spelljammer has appeal. I'm not sure, again, how much of a niche audience this is, but there's a number of Spelljammer products that have hit gold already that are on the DM's Guild, which means 500 sales, which is great, because if I can get past Electrum in something, I consider it a victory. And I suspect once I have this Spelljammer Combat Exploration book built out with all the Xaryxis stuff attached to it, it'll probably do Electrum. It's just a shame that it takes so long to build them, because now there's Dragonlance hype, and I'm like, well, you know, I gotta stay focused on this, otherwise I'm always going to be chasing the new thing, because I could easily take a month and build out Dragon Riders using the command mechanics, but I'd have to build out all the mechanics that back it up to make it work properly. So it's gonna have to be a pending project that may eventually get scooped conceptually by other people. So my production pipeline's a real bitch that I'm hoping I can find solutions for in the future, but I'm still building, you know. Anyway, Tech Talk with Phil. Feel free to ignore my questions so you can focus, but have you found that the DM's Guild is still kicking strong? I've been curious if it's been losing popularity or still alive and well. I'm not the best person to ask, because my production cycle is so slow on producing these things that I don't churn out a lot of content. I know that my own personal sales have slowed to about 50% over what they were in 2020. If I had more, if I was producing more content more steadily, I think I would be actually growing instead of shrinking in sales. But the DM's Guild Lounge has people posting numbers that also seem to be like, if you're still producing a lot of content, you're generally having success and you're having growth. If you aren't able to turn out content at a fast pace, then you're atrophying very strong. So I think that has just that difference has just escalated in the past year. Like if you're producing content, you're doing okay. If you aren't producing content quickly, you're suffering. But there's also a lot of a fan base that goes into that. You know, like if you have 10,000 followers that like what you do, wherever those followers are, Twitter, Discord, YouTube, whatever. If you have a base that likes your design style and what you produce, you're going to sell no matter what. So it's DM's Guild is only as useful as the audience that you're bringing to it. It's like you're doing your own marketing to sell stuff for DM's Guild. But the appeal of DM's Guild is the IP. So once you build like the way that I'm building this next, like the second generation, this is like Phil 2.0, is building the flagship and posting it and the adventure conversion designs to DM's Guild, because that's where they belong. But any of this, like this niche stuff that I've been talking about, like building out the Boros Guild and having a bunch of Boros subclasses and having Boros resources, that's something that I would drop onto, like I said, on the Patreon. But I'd have to have, because if I build followers that are interested in that stuff, then they're going to continue consuming it and supporting me. So DM's Guild becomes a place to kind of integrate what you're working on into what Wizards of the Coast has provided, which is what we're showing here. But it's not a long-term business strategy model, I don't think, unless there's something that sweetens. Like if they get rid of, like if they reduce 6E to an SRD only, and the only way you can publish for it is on DM's Guild, that may do well in pushing up general traffic there, and it will increase. But the works that you have on there would have to be translated. So lucky for me, I don't have a huge book of business yet. I only have 20 some odd products, so it's relatively easy for me to upgrade and revise the work that I have to whatever 60 mechanics are. Because all my stuff is all custom design couture work, so it's minimal issue for me to be able to modify like checks and saves and stuff like that. Since they're all variant classes anyway, once we have what the new class structure is, it should be pretty easy for me to restructure. And since Wizards of the Coast doesn't give a crap about spell points, there's no risk of that being contradicted. And so my mana system should stand as is regardless of what 6E becomes, because they're still going to have spellcasters, and those spellcasters are still going to spend resources. If anything, it's just going to offer new ways for me to have mana interact with the spellcasters, which I'm actually really excited about. So once we see how that all pans out, I'll have an opportunity to come in online here and rebuild all the mechanics of those mana books. I was planning on rebuilding them anyway, because my design aesthetics have improved and my layout skills have improved, and like the type of dressing that I want to do, I want to standardize a little bit better, and I wanted to clean up some of those illustrations just to make them look a little bit better. Some of them are a little shoddy, so it's an opportunity to go back and revamp it, and then integrate all the stuff from Strixhaven and Theros to make it a more complete document than what it was previously. So those changes, I'm looking forward to 2024 when the 6E drops for me to make those changes. And I'm hoping to get all this. I'm hoping to get a lot of this stuff off of my chest, so I have the bandwidth to do that. So this Spelljammer book, I'm expecting that to be done probably like in February. We're getting into home stretch at this point, and these maps are a lot easier to produce than I was afraid that they would be. I was offline a lot last night, and we had the play test, but after that I sunk in about 3 hours into the Eberron map that we've been working on. So Saturday morning, we're going to continue our work on Eberron, and I'll probably put in 4 hours into that on stream, and then of course I'll be offline as well. So I think I've got the perimeter of this thing pretty much done. I'm happy with that. Looks pretty good. And get the major structures here. So now we get to start to really just fill in details. Why is this off center? Where's my supersuit? Why do you need to know? The city is in danger. My evening is in danger. Yeah, that really is just off center. but it doesn't have to be. Actually, I can just be cheeky. Hold on real quick. Open. Documents. Book creation. No, that's not the right one. Spell points. What are my bits? Thank you. Palace, Polymorph, Collaborations, Mana Smite, Pacts Patrons. That'll work. Cheater, cheater, pumpkin here. Yeah, we'll see what the DMs Guild does. It's I mean, obviously it hinges highly on how popular D&D is in general. But I mean, I'm going to move away from the DMs Guild eventually. It's going to have to happen eventually, period. And I am enjoying the safe space that the DMs Guild provides for me to be able to develop my skills, as it were, in producing books, and mostly interested in accumulating audience here. Flip. Transform equals flip vertical. Yeah, once you I mean, Terran is Indestructible has pretty much proven this, that if you can build an audience on social media, then you'll always be able to successfully create products that your fan base enjoys. And once you get to that, you can go and do anything you want anywhere you want, because you become independent. You're not reliant on the DMs Guild for content anymore, because you have your own base that supports your efforts. So that's where I hope to get. And it's just, I've been in the industry doing freelance art for literally decades on like a very casual part-timer sort of approach, and I just never. Oh, I see why they're doing that. Nah, we're good like that. I've never wanted to build an audience before. It just wasn't right. But now it feels. Now I'm starting to enjoy the process of like actually being on stream and interacting with people and doing arty stuff like this, this is the gig, and I really enjoy it. So I'm going to start. Where are we at? 7 o'clock. It's time for a sip of coffee. Kick back for a second. Now we can start layering in these communities, blocking them in. We'll block them in, and then we'll zoom in and refine them. We're working at 3 pixels right now, and when we go in, we'll have them at 2 pixels. See, there's a significant difference in line weight, but it'll still sustain itself at the when we scale down to 70 pixels for it to fit in the VTT. The map lined up perfectly. I don't know if you saw the playtest of the stream from yesterday, but the Roll20, us building the map this way, we have to scale it down to 70 pixel squares, but it fit just. It was perfect. It was perfect. So I'm very, very satisfied with how that ended up sitting. So we're gonna build a new layer here. We're gonna go with. I'm gonna lock that one. I'm gonna go with outline. Let's go with military points. Cool. I'm going to start blocking these in. Ping. I'm going to keep this open as a promenade. I know that they have it more compressed in here, but they're not. There's literally no mechanical value to any of these buildings in the adventure as presented. So I could just do this and it'd be fine, whatever. You know, I mean, it wouldn't be acceptable for me to do that, but as far as the adventure is concerned, it is irrelevant. I'm going to trim this down though. I'm going to keep this buffer. Like, you can't build a structure within 50 feet of the Citadel. That just sounds like a good rule. Like, this should be an open path to this larger space market, in my opinion. It's not a space market, you know, it's like this larger space that has a market in it. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that. We're just blocking. We're just. I mean, we'll go through and we'll like build these little alleys and stuff. But right now we're just blocking in the districts or the neighborhoods, as it were, so they become more manageable. Just breaking things down into smaller pieces, and then moving across the space to increase the detail inside of those spaces. It allows you to have a consistent resolution, as it were, of structures that you're putting into the space. I don't need to do too much of a perfectionist here, but I'm totally being a perfectionist here. Roughly like that. Roughly like that. Grit. Making Christmas. Hey, timely timer. Keeping it. It's 7 o'clock. Man, I still got an hour to go. God, getting up earlier is awesome. This is great. I might just have to make this a habit. Except for on the weekends. I'm sleeping in on the weekends. Screw you guys. Saturday morning is often a time that I use to connect currently with Ukulele Bard on designing and development of whatever product it is that I'm working on, which has been the command system here recently. But Saturday used to be Saturday morning used to be my my Euro Road 20 game where I play with people in Russia and Europe, and I haven't done that in a couple years now though. But so that that opened up my Saturday to be a design space for me to work in and to collaborate inside of. And Monday nights had also been a collaboration night for the Eberron adventure that I've been creating with Andy Headley. If you're catching those streams. Obviously, I'm streaming Spelljammer stuff a lot more frequently than the Eberron Adventure stuff, but we're trying to prioritize pushing Spelljammer out the door as fast as we feasibly can. But we're working on both of them, so you're going to see. Once the playtesting for Spelljammer is done on Thursdays, then you're going to see me streaming a lot more Eberron art and mapping and stuff on Thursday nights as well as Monday nights. And once we start finalizing details with this, you'll see me doing whatever isn't done on Eberron yet. You'll see me doing that in the mornings here as well. So. It just happens I ended up juggling both of these projects at the same time because the timing got weird on them and I didn't manage my time well. But we're all kind of doing things loosely anyway, so it's not like there's a hard deadline on any of this stuff. It's all volunteer basis. It's just important to keep the ball moving forward so they get done. Even if they don't get done quickly, they have to get done so we can move on to what's next. And people are going to get revenue from this stuff. They will sell. There is money attached to these things. They will be profitable. It's just there's no corporate timeline involved here. So we have the luxury of getting it done and getting it done right so that we can stand behind the product no matter what. Like, that's the most important thing. It's like the design decisions, the great thing about PDFs is that when you realize that there's something you can do better or that something isn't working out the way that you intended, then which is not like the more and more feedback you get from people, the more you can find what your own playtesting missed. But playtesting is absolutely critical. I haven't. The only thing I haven't playtested that I've published is Nature's Ally, which is a subclass that it's a Strixhaven subclass for druids and wizards. It's not a DMsGuild. It's just called Nature's, like apostrophe S. Nature's not here. I'll show you. It's cool. Go DMsGuild. Nature's Ally. Here's the thing that I built. 4 stars, not bad. Full documents, only 5 pages. Archetype for druids and wizards. Basically, the druid and the wizard currently have the same track of progression. So you can have like some of the abilities of the circle of the Nature's Ally overlaps with traditions of Nature's Ally, but they have the same progression. So this is about like awakening. You awaken and create friends. You increase the durability of the summons. Befriend nature. See, all this stuff is duplicated, except the only difference is the wild shape that the wizard picks up and the and the natural recovery or arcane recovery that the druid picks up. Otherwise, these two subclasses are the same, except they have different spell lists. So the kicker that you get is that the druid gets the summoning spells that a wizard has, and the wizard gets the summoning spells that a druid has. And when you multi-class between both of those classes, it's your character level total between the druid and the wizard that acquires the subclass features. And like if you're like a 2-7, like if you're like, what is it, like it's 2-6. Okay, great. So like if you're a 6th level, like 2nd level druid, 4th level wizard, then you would have wild shape, you'd have the natural recovery, and you would have durable summonings. And then by the time you get like say 7 levels of wizard and 7 levels of druid, your 14th level. So you would have the wild shape, the natural recovery. You only get durable summonings once. You only get befriend nature once, and then you get awakened allies once. So between the two classes, you're surrendering the verisimilitude of stacking both of those, but the advantage is that you get that you combine your class levels total. And the spell casting modifications that you get is if it's one of the summoning spells from the list, you can whatever your max spell slot is the maximum spell level you can cast with summoning. So like if you would be a 14th, like if you're a 15th level, like 7th level ranger or 7th level druid, 8th level wizard that would normally only have access to 4th level spells on either of those. As a 15th level character, you have access to 8th level spell slots, so you can cast an 8th level summoning spell, whatever that spell would be. You can get those higher level spell summonings, even though your character level isn't able to actually learn spells of a higher level. You can't learn 8th level spells as either a wizard or a druid, unless it's one of your summoning spells, in which case then you could, because you have the 8th level spell slot to cast it. This multi-class allows you to gain access to those spells higher, because you're basically just blending druid and wizard together as a single subclass, granting you access to those higher level spells than you would normally have access to. So it's fun. And then I got the artwork in here that I made all this artwork, so that's my stuff. 1 art, 2 art, and then the book cover. So that's a couple bucks. That's like $2, I think. Yeah, it's copper already. So I mean, it's been around for a couple years. But almost like I only have 2 books now that aren't copper or better, so that's not bad. Like if all of your book, like all your, like even all my pay what you wants are all copper now too. Like literally everything that I put out has a medal, except for 2 books, and they're both within 10 medals, 10 sales, like super niche stuff. So anyway, yeah, that's me. What was my point? I don't remember why I was talking about that. Damn it. If someone can help me be back on track, I literally do not remember what the hell I was talking about. I think maybe I just wanted to show off Nature's Ally, because I love that cover. I love the book. I love Strixhaven. It's cool. God, what the hell was I talking about? Way too much time and effort I'm putting into these squares that are going to get erased. You were saying it's the only thing that has not been play tested. Oh, thank you, God, yes, thank you. So, but it's such a simple class. I mean, it's such a simple build that itself does not need playtesting. I just literally took things that already exist and respun them together at the same level of play you would normally have access to them. It's like there's like literally nothing broken, like there's nothing new in those mechanics. The newness of it is how your character gets access to them, which is still level appropriate. So like that is like one thing that doesn't need to be play tested because it's so basic. Thank you for that, Micah. Yeah, but like literally everything else I've play tested for months. So it's I can stand behind everything that I put out. And like it just blows my mind when like you do something mechanically complicated and don't test it. Like one of the reviewers spent like 2 hours building Kingmakers, the Loom Piezo thing, and he's like, wow, the skill system doesn't actually work with the guild, with the kingdoms as it is, because Pathfinder silos access to things at different levels. Like you have to be an expert to do these things, but for you to be an expert you have to acquire that level, and for you to acquire that level you have to be able to do these skills as an expert. It's like, so it's like a contradiction. It's a brain lock. It's chicken egg, and there's no chicken and there's no egg yet, so you can't produce anything. So like they're just, maybe it's super easy to fix those things, but apparently the developer was on Reddit saying, yeah, I didn't have the bandwidth to actually test this. It's like, well, why are you charging $100 for it on Roll20 if you don't know it works? It's frustrating. it's just frustrating. So anyway, I'm punching up right now. Forgive me, but I'm just like this little small indie nobody that, in my opinion, I'm kind of running circles around these larger studios and these upscaling ideas and like how to manage creatures and stuff like that. It's like my stuff is more efficient. It takes less pages to produce. The artwork is maybe, arguably comparable in quality, and I'm gonna charge you an assload for it, and I'm literally playtesting it. So I mean, like I don't need. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. I have no illusion that I'll be ever as popular and have the kind of successful production that Piezo is going to have, or like MCDM design is going to have. I just don't have the bandwidth. I don't have the support. I don't have the followers. So I can't get the sales, which I guess is why I'm motivated to start doing this stuff on stream, to prove, like, here's what I'm building. You should be interested in it if you like this kind of stuff. And so far, that strategy is actually effective. Like, people are like, yeah, this is cool. So that's really encouraging that I'm on the right path. I'm really proud of that. But I'm only really just starting now, so I cannot expect any kind of successful results probably for like years. So I'm going to have to invest another 3 years into doing this stuff to probably ramp up to the point where I can consider, quitting my job. We'll see where I'm at in 3 years. I'm in no hurry to quit my day job. I love my work, but I love painting more. But I don't want my hobby to become my job, So I'm being very, very slow about transitioning. The last thing I want to do is like commit my life and my family's security and my income around something that I end up burning out on after a month or two. It's like, no, I have to be more pragmatic than that. So I'm happy that to keep this as a hobby for as long as it's supposed to be a hobby, until the hobby itself becomes until treating it like a hobby is productive enough that I can make new changes. I can make decisions about my income. So it's I've chased pie in the sky. I've chased get rich quick. I've chased too good to be true investments, and they've all burned me. And I've never ended up happy with where I'm at in comparison to, I could have just spent time doing what I love instead of pursuing these things. So I'm happy I had the opportunity to experience all the high hope stuff earlier on in my life enough to get away from that crap, to try to find something that I can control for myself. The pursuit of all these things was always, I want to be able to create the bandwidth for me to be able to have fun and do what I want, but they always required so much time to do that it's actually just better to just hard commit to the thing that you love to do and see if it can just grow and manifest into something that people appreciate and support. And like that is a good indication that what you're doing is what you should be doing, as opposed to like coming up with a way, like a side hustle to support your side hustle. It's like, it's just, at some point you're just wasting your time. But you know, that you have to go through that painful process of discovery. It's like, yeah, this actually has been a huge waste of time. And it's like, well, in this, like this is in no way a waste of time, because I freaking love painting. I'm going to design anyway. I've always done it as a DM. I'm never going to stop. Now it's just something I can share with other people while I'm actually doing it. So it becomes a kind of a fun, creative process. So anyway, ramble on, sing my song. Hey, what's going on over here? Still enjoyable, and I wouldn't give it up at all. Yeah, no kidding. Just can become work if you don't step away and reset. Oh, absolutely. I'm pro DM at my day job. It's a catch-22. Oh, wow. Congratulations, man. I run games as hobbies now, and playing is slightly less enjoyable. Oh, God, I hate playing. I mean, I'll take that back. I occasionally like to play, like, I'm currently playing in a game, like a 3-hour game every other week. I value playing because it helps me keep perspective, but I enjoy DMing. I like designing, and I enjoy DMing with the designs that I build, because I just like there's a lot more, players are always trying to figure things out. They're always defeating challenges, and they're always making decisions about what their next move is. The DM's job is to create challenges and to adapt the game environment to accommodate the shenanigans that the players are attempting, so that what they are attempting can potentially succeed and have fun results. Like, it's a very different game for the DM. Like, I don't think people really spend enough time really like how DM stuff, like how to DM. I don't really think there's a lot of focus placed on how different of a game DMing is from playing. Like, it's a completely different. Like, your priorities are all different. The way that you're spending your turn, quote unquote, as a DM is different. The narrative aspect, where you're floating between multiple characters and scenes, is a large destruction of ego. Like, you can't be attached to a character that your team could decide to shiv at any time. Like, if they kill that guy, you can't have your whole campaign hinge on that guy. You know, it's just, so improvisational skills just like get kicked through the roof when you DM consistently. Your ability to think on your feet and to come up with plausible stories. It's like, it's a tremendous skill set. I'm a much better DM than I am a player. Oh, same here. Same here. But that's been my focus. Like, if you're a DM, you can always find players. If you want to run a game, you can just snap your fingers and you can get a dozen people that are interested in playing. Like, when I post on Roll20, hey, I'm putting together a new team. We're going to do a 20 level campaign. It's going to take 60 weeks to do it. And here's the, like, I'm doing like a space pirate theme. You know, who wants to play? I'll get 40 applications the first day. No problem. If it's a different system, it might be more difficult, but I don't care about other systems. I play D&D. And I've played GURPS, I've played Rifts, I've played pretty much anything Palladium I've played. And World of Darkness, 2 editions of Shadowrun, let's see, Numenera for a couple years. What else have I been involved in? I did a little bit of Rollmaster. Pathfinder's just 3E, so I spent like a shitload of time on that. What else have I played? Gamma World, both 2nd and 4th edition. I've always loved Gamma World. second edition was as gonzo as first edition D&D is, and fourth edition was so simple. It was a lot of fun to play. I really enjoy fourth edition Gamma World. It's so chaotic. Like whenever you roll a natural 1, you randomly mutate, so you get a new power, and you can use that power once, and then it goes away, and then you don't get another power back until you roll another natural 1. So like you would be, rolling a natural 1 rewarded your character, and then like magic items like tech. It was very Cypher. In hindsight, it was very Cypher system in design, and that like everything was temporary. You occasionally, like when you leveled up, you would occasionally get like you can use this once per day type psychic ability. Very 4E design, per encounter, per day, sort of stuff, or at will. Just got into PF2 and Starfinder. Interested in running those, but honestly, we'll still probably stick with 5e. Well, you know. I like the action economy of 2E. It just there's something. It has a very sterile feel to it. Like it's very. I think it's very controlled. Like the DC scaling of things, like the encounter levels matching per level. It feels a little too. I think sterile is the proper word for that. Like 5e is sloppy as fuck. Like super, super sloppy. You can make huge mistakes with 5e, and that's kind of part of the appeal of how loose it is. Like if you run across something, there is zero guarantee it's level appropriate. Where in Pathfinder, it's kind of like it's kind of the meta of the game is that whatever you run across is going to be level appropriate. It might be challenging, but it'll be level appropriate. As opposed to 5e, you can easily build things that are completely not level appropriate. And that it's interesting that 5e hasn't really educated players on, cover your ass. like learn to run away. Players absolutely do not do that. It's great. Heavy veteran PCs run away. If you've been playing less than 5 years, there's a good chance that you don't have a runaway mentality. Anyone is welcome. If you disagree with me, go ahead and drop it in the comments. Yada yada. Instigating comment insert here. We'll do that. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Dum, dum. Boom, 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 boom. Man, I would love some Sepultura or Pantera right now, but I can't listen to that music without either demonetizing myself or wearing headsets and you not being part of the show. That just feels wrong. Wearing headsets and listening to music that you don't listen to with me feels like I'm out of sync. I've tried it before. It just makes me feel like I'm out of sync with the audience. It's weird. Do not recommend. But man, I love my licensed music. spend way too much time on these boxes that are just ultimately unimportant. There we go, like that. Ba-da-do. Not bad, no complaint. So that's where that's sitting. That's ultimately going to get destroyed and replaced with like these little bits here. So this is going to pan out. This is all going to pan out. Where are we at? 7:30. I'm not. Maybe. Oh shit! I just locked up. Hit save. If I could potentially get this done in the next 20 minutes. I have to close that out and start it up again. I thought I was going to work on my Space Shark a little bit more, but it doesn't look like I'm going to. Rawr. That's fun, but I can come back to the Space Shark pretty much any time. But I'm going to spend a few minutes on it. Can't help myself. I really want to. I don't know why this song feels like Christmas, but it just feels like Christmas to me. I don't think there's any rational reason for that. Oh, I get it now. There we go. That feels pretty good. Actually, it does feel pretty good. And I can probably get like another one here. Yeah, pretty easy. Pretty easy peasy. It's going to be a fun little piece when it's done. Alright, let's get back to work. Breaks over, Kearney. Back to the salt line. Mine. Salt, mine. Mine your salt. Urgh. Same. Yeah, it's the same size. Man, now I really want to listen to Bass Nectar. I'm going to have to spend some time with the radio today. Sorry, I just mean YouTube. Whatever. I got a whole stack of music that I want to listen to. That's great. It can be done. Arr! How you doing, Gurney? so good. Sorry, bud. Fallen Spring. That worked out. It's got 15 minutes left. Cool. Still comparable. That's good. We're almost done. I mean, for today. Obviously, there's a shitload of minute work that we'll have to do, but we enjoy the process of doing it. That's why we're here. I hear you. All right, let's change that. Let's kick this down to give ourselves 10 minutes. 10 minutes left. That's all we got. What is this? Friday? Yeah. So I'll be back on stream tomorrow morning around 9:30. I'll be like noon 30 East time, like just afternoon on Eastern time frame. Yeah, and I'll probably stream for probably 3 hours. We're gonna work more on the Eberron map that we've been working on. The line art is almost done. We're gonna get into color. We will be coloring on tomorrow, the Eberron map, and we'll see how quickly that goes. It could go actually pretty fast because it's not super heavy detail work. It's not like I'm painting. I'm just adding some texture and color to the background underneath the line art, just so it looks prettier. I'm excited about that. Because once we knock that guy down, then we're we already have the third act, the underground bunker. That's already done, and the top side entrance is close to done too. So there's only there's only 5 significant maps in the Eberron adventure, and we've already finished one of them. We're about to finish the second one. We'll get on to the third. And most of the I mean all the line art for them is at least at minimum good, if not great yet. I'd say I'd say the underground bunker and this topside, this flooded fort that we've been working on, I'd say are excellent maps. I'm very, very pleased with them. But then we'll be able to finish fleshing out. I like that little tower there. It's cool. Yeah, so these are coming along. The cemetery is in excellent condition as well. It just needs, well, I'd say it's in strong condition. It needs a couple hours, by a couple probably like 20 hours worth of cleanup and then coloring, of course, as well. So, but I'll probably do the cemetery. there's a cemetery, there's the topside entrance, there's a flooded fort, there's the underground bunker, and then there is the Town of Peace. And that also needs to be cleaned up. It's in good condition, but it needs more work as well. So, but we're really far along with all of the maps for the Eberron adventure. And once we lock those down, then we're just building token assets and interior art. So we're actually coming along, considering where we are in the editing process for the Eberron adventure. I'm really happy with where I am in the asset production so far. So we're actually falling in sync pretty well. There's a decent chance that the maps will be done by the time the edits are done, so that we can smoothly move from the into layouts and know what all of our map assets are moving in, because the map assets are the only components of the layouts that have a mechanical impact on the layouts, like where we're going to position the map images, the illustrations of the map into the PDF document. That's going to form the text around that. So that's really important to have done. So it's really great that it's pacing out that way. Clean up, clean up, clean up. But yeah, I'm really happy with the progress of everything I've got going on so far. Let's do that. Sitting there with my mouth open. Come on, you mouth breather. Figure it out. Hello. Okay, that's good. So when we come back next time, we'll drop this down into a lower opacity like this, so it becomes more background, and we can then 3 with that one. Say it's 2. Yep, it's 2. So we can come back in here and like, for instance, so that's like about 30 feet wide right there, and that's like 60, so that's like 30 by 60, 30 by 70, something like that. So, and then there's like that. This is 500 feet, so that's 50 feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 50 feet, 50 feet, 50 feet, 50 feet. That's 250 feet. So that's almost 50 feet wide by 100 feet. 50 by 120-ish. So that puts that like around a 10-foot alleyway, like a small little roadway. So super small resolution in the scale of things, pardon the pun. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. It's a good scaling. So you know, we can do like little blocks like that. Like that's a city block now. And this is probably the resolution that we're actually looking at on this. Like we'll want to have to be able to have this. Like this is the size. Like this. 1, 2, 3. It'll be like a 9x9 grid so that your team can circle the thing. So we should actually probably shift this over to. Well, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to shift it down. I can just add in another block over yonder. But what is locking this? Oh, that locked it. Let's actually do that. Shunt. Here we go. Right, so when we actually build this out, we'll have a 9x9 grid here of 30 inches by 30 inches by 30 inches. Not necessary though. We may end up doing like a 30 by 20. See, like the large Chessex rollout maps are 26 by 30, 24 by 36 inches. So I like to keep this in scale for a Chessex map. So I may just do a 30 by 20 grid here, so that you can circle around. But it'll actually be again, it'll be 11 by 17 pages that we print out. So this square here, 10 inches wide, when you take an 11 by 17 page and you feed it through a printer, it's able to, you can print out that one little thing, have margin for error. So I can have at the top 6 inches of this. Like if this is 11 by 17, then we're looking at 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16. Like the actual page is like this big. So I can fill in a bunch of little, all the troops and the ships and all the armada and stuff like that, and the turrets that will be present in here. I can use those as like filling these inches of the 11 by 17. So it's a 10 by 16 space, and the 6 by 10 space that I have here, I can just fill in with all the little ship pips, you know, and then I can have a side page of more pips, like little icons, figurines move around. So anyway, that's the thought there. But we're at my timer for the day. So this was great. I'm going to do more of this next week. I'm going to see if I can get up. I'm going to see if I can stream an hour earlier, like usual, and see if we can pound through this content that much faster. But I'm really looking forward to coming back and revisiting this. But I'm going to. I'm done for the day. So like, subscribe, check out my books down below. Definitely check out the playtest content to see if you enjoy it. Follow me on Twitter. Catch me on Discord if you can. And I'll see all you guys tomorrow around a little afternoon EST. So I'll see you guys then. Night.